Hello and welcome back to the channel. I have a bunch of deck techs here today, as well as kind of a product review, because I normally like my 250 card Ultra Pro clears, so that way I can show off my commander and whatever color sleeves I've got, if I've got a graphic or an art sleeve, or just, these are the clear mats for Dragon Shield. But I have two of the boulders. I have a green and a purple, and you can kind of see the commanders. And then I bought an Ultra Pro Satin Tower because I double sleeved with Dragon Shield, and double sleeve Dragon Shield do not fit into any of these. So you have to get the Ultra Pro Satin Tower if you want something nice and sturdy for double shield with double sleeve Dragon Shield. But the first deck I'm going to get into is one that I saw on the line. I went through the unused commanders, and I found an old one that I really, really liked. And it's because the Sisters of Stone Death, it's Golgari, so I already like the colors, but it has 3 abilities. It costs 8 mana to get out, 4 black, black, green, green for a Gorgon, so I also kind of went Gorgon tribal somewhat. And the abilities are really interesting because you can make something block the sisters when I attack, and then I can pay a black and a green as soon as blockers are declared before combat damage to remove them from the game. Or I could keep her up on defense and block with her, and before damage pay black and green to remove the attacker from the game. And then we've also got the final ability. It's kind of like a mini planeswalker legendary creature. It's kind of sweet to put one of those removed cards. So even if she dies and she goes back to my command center, my command zone, I can still pay, if I put her back onto the battlefield, I can still pay the 2 and a black to put her back on, to put any of those creatures back onto the battlefield. I only included 3 tokens in this. I should have more, but I have my assassin tokens that when they deal damage to someone, they lose the game. That's actually from a Gorgon Planeswalker we'll get into. But I actually start off my deck tech with alternate art cards that aren't very popular. Harrow, instant mana ramp. Putrefy is another instant removal. A full art Yeheni's Expertise, alternate art, an alternate art Vizara, Gorgon, alternate art Zathard Gorgon, and alternate art Gorgon Reaper of the Wilds. And I tried to make this deck nearly foil. I'm only missing a couple cards that are not foil. This is the alternate art Vraska, so that is one of our assassin token creators. In Garrick's Wake, alternate art. And then I go into some mana ramp because I am playing green before I get into cards that help her abilities. Farseek foil, Rampant Growth foil, Cultivate foil, Hour of Promise, Boundless Realms, Skyshroud Claim, Explosive Edge, Artifact Ramp, Signet, Cluestone, Mindstone, Soul Ring, Zendikar Resurgent is a mana doubler. It's pretty sweet. I got this actually in my pre-release, so I've had it this whole time. Cage Sun, double my mana, either black or green if I want to use the abilities. Cryptghast. Now, we're getting into cards that help with her, with the sister's abilities. Now, these are cards that I chose strictly to boost or abuse the 3 abilities on my commander. Alright, so Heartstone reduces all of those, the costs of the 2nd, 3rd ability by 1. Actually, I guess the 3rd ability just by 1. Illusionist Bracers, I can copy one of those abilities to either exile or put a creature onto the battlefield. Infiltration Lens, somebody has to block her. If I can force someone to block, and then I can draw 2 cards off of that. This is just a foil Gorgon card. It's just kind of a Voltron foil Gorgon. Nemesis Mask, I can force things without having to pay the green on her abilities to force creatures to block. Black Blade Reforged is just a Voltron strategy card. Darksteel Plate just keeps her alive. Lightning Greaves keeps her from being targeted. Glaring Spotlight allows my enemy's creatures to be targeted with her first ability to force them to be blocked. Bonds of Mortality is a card that allows me to remove Hexproof and Indestructible from my opponent's creatures, so that way I can attack or target and attack and use the abilities. Detection Tower M19 card removes Hexproof. Doesn't remove Shroud, let that be known, but it does remove Hexproof. Arcane Lighthouse removes Shroud and Hexproof. Gift of the Deity is a creature that is a card, an aura that gives the sisters Death Touch and forces it to be blocked. Aspect of Gorgon is a foil Gorgon card that gives them Death Touch. Without Weakness, Renegade's Getaway, and Rush of Vitality all provide indestructible instant speed indestructibility. For combat, if I don't have the mana to use an ability, I can just regenerate, or I guess make them indestructible. Same with Mortar's Resolve, instant speed, indestructible, withstand death, indestructible, destined, indestructible, lead makes later on in its aftermath requires the sisters to be blocked, which again works with the ability. Ornamental Courage is instant speed untap, so I can force someone to block on my attack, then keep a green up, and at the end of, like in the middle of combat, I can untap the sisters, block again, and then pay a black-green to remove whatever was attacking me from the game. Gaze of Gorgon is just a foil Gorgon card, but it also is an instant speed that, destroys anything that was blocked or blocked by my sisters. Deadly Allure requires the sisters to be blocked and is black-green with flashback. Provoke forces somebody who's attacked me to untap their creature, and then I can force them to block if I need. Roar of the Challenge requires sisters to be blocked again. Archetype, I need to get this in foil, just gives my sisters Death Touch. Benefactor's Drought is a sweet, sweet card for this deck. It untaps all creatures, and then I can force a bunch of creatures to block the sisters, and then whenever they block, I get to draw a card off of each of those blocks, plus just draw a card off of that. So it's kind of sweet. Treasured Find is a Gorgon foil. Hythonia the Cruel, Gorgon foil. Gaze of Granite, foil. Sudden Spoiling removal. Decree removal. Windgrace's Judgment removal. Merciless Executioner removal. I think we're getting into our removal and our utility cards. Fleshbag Marauder. Victimize. I can bring something back if I have to. It's a sweet card. Viscera Seer allows me to sacrifice a creature that I have put into play to scry, as well as Victimize. I mean, I can play a creature that I've exiled from the game with Victimize. I can kill off any of those two creatures that are brought from someone else and bring my creatures back. Viscera Seer. Tainted Strike, alternate win. Phyresis, alternate win. Vraska, Scheming Gorgon, sweet card. It allows me to steal people's creatures, like with sisters, and then use her -10 to give them all win touch. Grafted Exoskeleton, alternate win. Grey Merchant, alternate win. And then we're going to get into my lands. Now, I made this deck before Guilds of Ravnica was spoiled, and I'm kind of jealous because they're coming out with some sweet new Golgari lands. But I did my best to get foils. So I've got Blooming Marsh, Cabal Stronghold, Blighted Woodland, Foul Orchard, Guildgate, Rot Farm, Jungle Hollow, Grim Backwoods. I love this card. Liliana Vess's flavor text. And then I have a bunch of basics. Now, each basic is a foil original Return to Ravnica guild land, so I chose what I thought would be the best distinctive foil lands. So I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 swamps. And then the forests I chose were foil guilds forests as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of those, so 25 basics. And then the really irrelevant cards in the deck, just a Hissing Quagmire I had a Reliquary Tower and a Temple for the False God. But that is a deck tech for my Sisters of Stone Death. I really just wanted to play Golgari and abuse these abilities of just playing with other people's creatures and forcing combat and getting sneaky wins in weird places. But feel free to leave a comment in the below if you want to ask any questions or talk about anything. Thank you. And I will see you for the next deck tech.